7 vehicles this week with many journalists, analysts, and investors that are going to be here.
Toyota has just done the unthinkable, and the entire US auto industry is reeling. The world's most disciplined automaker, famous for playing the long game and never joining price wars, has detonated an economic bomb under America's truck market. Overnight, Toyota announced massive price cuts across its most iconic pickups. The Tundra and Tacoma, shaving thousands of dollars off models that until now were known for commanding premium prices. Buyers walked into dealerships expecting to haggle, and instead walked out speechless. Dealers couldn't believe it either. Suddenly, those long-standing Toyota reliability premiums vanished, and in their place, sticker tags that rivaled the discounts of struggling American brands. The move has been described by analysts as a market earthquake, one that could permanently rewrite the economics of truck manufacturing in the United States. But here's the question that's leaving executives at Ford, GM, and Ram sleepless. Why now? Toyota didn't stumble into this, so don't panic. Every major move in Toyota's history, from hybrid dominance to supply chain supremacy, has been years in the making, and this latest shock feels no different. Beneath the headlines about discounts lies a strategic power play that stretches far beyond dealership showrooms. This isn't about selling trucks, it's about reclaiming dominance in America's last automotive stronghold. For decades, Detroit's Big Three ruled the pickup segment like kings, and Toyota, the quiet outsider, played along. But now, the rules have changed. The American truck bubble, inflated by sky-high prices and thin loyalty, is starting to burst. And Toyota isn't waiting for it to collapse. They're popping it themselves. So what's the real story here? Why would Toyota, a company known for consistency and control, deliberately start a pricing war that could ripple through the entire industry? The answer isn't simple. It's layered, part economics, part psychology, and part revenge for decades of underestimation. This is the story of how Toyota went from cautious contender to ruthless disruptor, and why their latest move could break Detroit's truck empire for good. Real quick, if you're into videos that cut through the noise and break things down clearly, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps more people find this, and if you're not subscribed yet, now's a good time. We've got more deep dives coming your way. Also, drop a comment and let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your take. Now onto the video. To grasp the gravity of what Toyota just did, you first have to understand what they never do. This is a company that built its empire on patience. Toyota doesn't chase trends. It outlasts them in an industry addicted to hype, electric revolutions, luxury upgrades, tech-heavy gimmicks. Toyota has always been the calm presence in the corner, quietly refining reliability and efficiency. So when that company suddenly starts offering $8,000 discounts on brand new 2025 trucks, something extraordinary is happening. Across the US, dealerships erupted in confusion. In states like Texas and Oklahoma, where pickup trucks are almost a cultural badge of honor, Toyota showrooms saw a surge not witnessed in years. Customers who had given up on new truck prices suddenly found themselves driving off the lot in vehicles once thought out of reach. Online, truck forums exploded with posts from buyers bragging about unbelievable deals. It wasn't a clearance sale, and it wasn't a marketing stunt. These were fresh models, fully equipped, hybrid ready, and priced to move. Analysts quickly realized this wasn't desperation. It was surgical precision. While Ford, GM, and Ram had spent years betting their profits on ever higher margins, Toyota chose to detonate the foundation those profits stood on. Inflated pricing. The company understood something fundamental. American truck buyers were reaching a breaking point. Mortgage rates were rising, fuel prices fluctuating, and household budgets shrinking. The market was primed for disruption, and Toyota was ready to deliver it. What makes this even more shocking is how fast the fallout hit. Within weeks, Ford dealerships began quietly requesting new factory incentives to compete. GM dealers started lobbying for emergency rebates to move unsold Silverados, and Ram, already struggling to hold ground, was practically giving away financing deals. Toyota didn't just join the price war, they started it on their own terms, at the exact moment their rivals couldn't afford to fight back. It's a play straight from Toyota's historical playbook, one that dates back to when they entered the US market with the Corolla and dismantled Detroit's dominance in sedans. Back then, Americans laughed at the idea of small, efficient cars. A decade later, they were begging for them. Today, history might be repeating itself, only this time, the battlefield isn't compact cars. It's the sacred heart of the American automotive identity, a full-size pickup. For more than a decade, America's truck market seemed untouchable. The F-150, Silverado, and Ram 1500 weren't just vehicles. They were cultural icons and profit machines. Every new generation grew larger, fancier, and more expensive. By 2022, the average transaction price for a full-size truck in the United States had blown past $65,000. Consumers kept paying because the brands sold not just utility, but identity. Owning an American truck was a symbol of success. Then reality hit. Interest rates climbed to multi-decade highs, turning monthly payments for new vehicles into small mortgages. Supply chain whiplash left dealers with the wrong mix of inventory, luxury trims with price tags few could afford. Ford's electric gamble, the F-150 Lightning, stalled as battery costs soared. EZM's electric Silverado launch faced delays, and Ram, heavily dependent on domestic sales, found itself squeezed between inflation and tightening credit. Beneath the glossy advertisements, the economics were cracking. Consumers began to notice. They saw $80,000 pickup trucks parked unsold on dealership lots, while wages stagnated. Used truck values, once sky-high, started sliding as interest payments made new purchases less appealing. Fleet operators and construction companies, the backbone of truck demand, cut back on orders. Truck loyalty, once unshakable, started to erode. People wanted capability, but not at the cost of financial suffocation. Inside Detroit boardrooms, alarm bells rang. Truck divisions had been the cash engines funding costly EV transitions.
If margins collapsed, everything, from battery plant investments to autonomous vehicle research, would suffer. Executives banked on another cycle of price hikes to patch the losses. That's when Toyota made its move. While the big three clung to the illusion of limitless demand, Toyota read the room. Their analysts saw the fatigue, the growing resentment toward overpriced vehicles and luxury features nobody asked for. They understood that the American truck market had reached its saturation point. So instead of chasing the shrinking top of the pyramid, Toyota set its sights on the broad middle, hard-working Americans who wanted value, dependability, and efficiency. When Toyota unleashed its price cuts, Detroit's vulnerability was fully exposed. The companies that once dictated pricing power suddenly looked over-leveraged, out of touch, and reactionary. Toyota didn't just find an opening in the market. It found a weakness in an entire business model built on consumer overconfidence. What looked like a sudden price war was actually years in the making. But Toyota's leadership doesn't gamble. Every major shift the company has made, from its pioneering hybrid systems to its near-perfect supply chains, comes from relentless preparation, and this time was no different. While American automakers sprinted toward an electric future, Toyota quietly reinforced its hybrid foundation. Engineers in HE and Texas refined powertrains that could tow heavy loads while sipping fuel, achieving efficiency numbers no full-size gas truck could match. Simultaneously, corporate strategists began building financial flexibility, keeping cash reserves high, debt low, and production diversified across Japan, Mexico, and the US. This discipline meant that when global interest rates rose and consumer spending weakened, Toyota could still afford to take a hit on profit margins, a luxury its competitors didn't have. Behind the scenes, Toyota was stockpiling. Beginning in 2023, the company increased orders for critical components, batteries for hybrid systems, steel for truck frames, and semiconductors that had paralyzed rival production lines. Executives predicted that demand volatility would hit the US market within 2 years, and they were right. When Ford and GM slowed output to avoid overstock, Toyota kept its assembly lines humming, quietly filling regional distribution hubs with 2025 Tundras and Tacomas. Logistics planning was equally strategic. Toyota pre-booked shipping routes months in advance, locked in freight prices before inflation peaked, and strengthened partnerships with US suppliers who were still recovering from pandemic disruptions. When the discounts launched, inventory was already in place. Dealerships that had once complained about shortages suddenly had full lots and the ability to deliver instantly, while competitors quoted waiting lists.
while marketing remained silent. Deliberately so. Toyota didn't need fanfare, it needed surprise. By keeping the campaign under wraps, they ensured maximum impact when the announcement hit. Consumers saw the price tags drop overnight, and the lack of leaks amplified the shock factor. It felt spontaneous, but it was orchestrated to perfection. Inside corporate circles, Toyota's operation is now being compared to a chess match. Every move, from production scheduling to consumer psychology, was calculated years in advance. The company wasn't reacting to the market downturn, it was waiting for it. When Detroit's guard finally lowered, Toyota executed the strike it had been preparing since the pandemic, textbook demonstration of patience meeting opportunity. The rollout of Toyota's discounts wasn't messy or frantic. It was a masterclass in controlled disruption. Within 24 hours of the first price announcements, Toyota dealerships across the country received synchronized marketing packages, financing tools, and inventory shipment updates. There was no confusion, no conflicting messages, just one unified narrative. Affordable power has returned. Customers responded instantly. In major truck states like Texas, Florida, and Michigan, foot traffic surged by double digits. Dealerships that had struggled to meet monthly sales targets found themselves running out of parking space. Buyers who had been sitting on the sidelines for years suddenly saw a green light. Reliability, performance, and value, all from the brand that built its reputation on longevity. For many, it wasn't just a purchase, it was a statement of rebellion against the inflated prices dominating the market. The precision of Toyota's execution left analysts stunned. Unlike traditional sales events, these discounts weren't tied to aging inventory or seasonal clearance. They applied to newly released 2025 models, a move that defied industry norms. Toyota wasn't liquidating. It was redefining. By cutting prices on fresh stock, they forced rivals into an impossible position: either match the cuts and sacrifice profits, or hold firm and watch buyers defect. Ford and GM blinked first. Within days, internal memos surfaced revealing urgent meetings about competitive realignment. Dealers begged for rebates, marketing budgets were re-evaluated, and executives scrambled to justify price differences that no longer made sense. Toyota's move had triggered what one industry insider called a controlled implosion of Detroit's confidence. And yet, Toyota's messaging remained calm, almost understated. Their advertising didn't boast or mock. It simply repeated a simple, powerful phrase: built to last, priced to move. That restraint made the move feel even more confident. It wasn't aggression, it was inevitability. Consumers didn't sense chaos, they sensed competence. The true genius of the strike was psychological. By presenting affordability as a return to normalcy rather than a desperate promotion, Toyota positioned itself as the voice of reason in an irrational market. The company effectively told consumers, "We see what's happening. You've paid enough. Let's reset." And that message resonated deeply in an economy where people felt unheard by corporate giants. In just a few weeks, Toyota didn't merely sell more trucks. It seized the narrative. It became the brand that restored fairness to the American truck market, turning market chaos into complete control. When Toyota slashed truck prices, most analysts called it a short-term play, a clever sales stunt to boost market share. But insiders quickly realized the discounts were only the first act in something far larger, the strategic repositioning around hybrid dominance. While Ford, GM, and Ram poured billions into battery electric trucks that few could afford or charge conveniently, Toyota quietly refined a formula it had already perfected: hybrid powertrains that balance strength, efficiency, and reliability. This wasn't new territory for Toyota. The company pioneered hybrid technology more than 2 decades ago with the Prius, while Detroit dismissed it as a fad. Today, that same technology is powering Toyota's resurgence. The latest Tundra and Tacoma hybrids deliver towing capacities above 11,000 pounds while achieving over 25 miles per gallon. Unheard of numbers for full-size trucks. And when you combine that with discounts that bring the price of a hybrid pickup closer to a mid-range sedan, the value proposition becomes unbeatable. Toyota's strategy hinges on one key insight: the EV dream isn't dying, it's stalling. Consumers want efficiency, but they're frustrated by real-world challenges. Long charging times, expensive batteries, and sparse charging infrastructure have dimmed the appeal of electric trucks. especially in rural America, the very market trucks dominate. Toyota saw this coming. Rather than chasing a future that wasn't ready, they doubled down on a bridge technology that works today. Internally, sources whisper about Project Avalanche, Toyota's rumored campaign to make hybrid technology the backbone of its entire North American lineup by 2026. If true, this means nearly every SUV and truck, from compact to full-size, could come standard with hybrid efficiency at prices the big three can't match. It's a strategic 1-2 punch. First, lure buyers with discounts. Second, lock them in with hybrid systems that deliver everything EVs promise without the drawbacks. This hybrid push isn't just about engineering, it's about identity. Toyota is rewriting the narrative of modern trucks. Power no longer has to mean waste, and performance doesn't require a plug. By redefining what innovation looks like in the real world, Toyota is proving that sometimes the smartest move isn't chasing the future, it's mastering the present. Price cuts and hybrids get people in the door, but Toyota's next move is designed to keep them there forever. Industry insiders have begun circulating documents referencing a new initiative called Toyota Advantage Plus, a membership-style ownership model that could completely rewrite how Americans buy, maintain, and upgrade their vehicles. If confirmed, it would mark the most radical change in dealership strategy in decades. Here's how it reportedly works. Every new Toyota truck buyer would automatically enter a loyalty ecosystem, offering guaranteed trade-in values, extended warranties, discounted accessories, and exclusive fuel rebates for hybrid models. Essentially, Toyota is transforming truck ownership from a one-time transaction into an ongoing relationship, one that rewards buyers for staying within the brand. It's a subtle but devastatingly effective strategy. While Ford and GM battle over financing gimmicks and short-term rebates, Toyota is building retention infrastructure. Imagine buying a truck today and already knowing what you'll get for it in 3 years, or receiving automatic loyalty bonuses toward your next model. That kind of predictability eliminates buyer hesitation, the single biggest obstacle in high-interest rate environments. It's psychological genius. Remove uncertainty, and customers stop shopping elsewhere. This approach also plays into Toyota's greatest historical advantage: trust. For decades, Toyota has cultivated a reputation for reliability. Now they're monetizing that trust through systems that make ownership more affordable, predictable, and secure. It's a move that taps into a deep emotional current among buyers who are tired of surprise costs, unreliable promises, and overpriced luxury upgrades. The rumored next step? Subscription-style maintenance programs. For a small monthly fee, truck owners could cover oil changes, tire rotations, and inspections. No surprises, no hidden costs. It's a simple model with profound implications. Toyota transforms maintenance from a headache into a convenience. For customers squeezed by inflation, that peace of mind is priceless. In essence, Toyota isn't just winning sales, it's reprogramming customer behavior. Once buyers enter this ecosystem, they're unlikely to leave, because every part of ownership becomes easier, cheaper, and more predictable. That's not just marketing, it's market control. Ford and GM can lower prices temporarily. Toyota, meanwhile, is building loyalty chains that could last a lifetime. For decades, the American pickup wasn't just a vehicle, it was a declaration of identity. Driving a Ford or Chevy truck meant something: heritage, toughness, pride. But in 2025, that pride is clashing with reality. A new generation of consumers is rejecting the idea that a work truck needs to cost as much as a luxury SUV, and Toyota has become the unexpected champion of that rebellion. The shift began quietly. On TikTok and YouTube, influencers who once flaunted $80,000 F-150s started comparing their costs to Toyota's newly discounted hybrids, and the results were damning. Videos showing side-by-side towing tests, fuel comparisons, and long-term reliability stats went viral. Why pay more for less became the rallying cry. Toyota trucks, once seen as imports, are now framed as the people's trucks: reliable, affordable, and built for those who simply need to get the job done. This cultural realignment runs deeper than marketing. It's a response to economic fatigue. After years of inflation, high living costs, and shrinking paychecks, buyers are done chasing prestige. They want practicality, something Toyota has embodied for decades. For many Americans, Toyota's value-first approach feels like a return to sanity in an industry that's lost touch with its customers. The same buyers who once swore loyalty to domestic brands are now saying, "Toyota gets it." The effects are visible everywhere. Forums dedicated to Ford and Chevy are flooded with posts from users considering their first Toyota. Dealerships report that many new buyers are former loyalists of the big three. Even social media personalities who once ridiculed foreign trucks are now praising Toyota's strategy as bold and consumer-friendly. It's not just a pricing war, it's a perception war. And Toyota is winning it effortlessly, torturally. The implications are enormous. For the first time, Toyota is not the outsider in the American truck conversation. It's the trendsetter. The company has tapped into something far more powerful than economics: emotion. It's selling relief. The feeling that buying a truck doesn't have to feel like financial punishment. In a time when Americans are reevaluating everything from debt to value, Toyota's message lands perfectly. You can still have strength, reliability, and pride without the excess. In other words, the American dream on four wheels just got a Japanese rewrite, and it's resonating louder than anyone expected. Toyota's bombshell has done more than shake up the auto industry. It's exposed its fragility. For years, American automakers built empires on rising prices, cheap financing, and brand nostalgia. Those pillars are collapsing under their own weight. Toyota didn't create that weakness. It simply exploited it with one coordinated strike. Precision discounts, hybrid dominance, and loyalty-driven ownership. The Japanese automaker has rewritten the rulebook of American competition, or the ripple effects will reach far beyond dealerships. Suppliers, steel manufacturers, and logistics networks are already feeling the shock. If the big three slash production to stem losses, local economies built around factory towns could face serious contraction. This isn't just a pricing war, it's a structural reset, one that may redefine what Made in America means in a globalized, cost-conscious world. Culturally, the shift might be even more profound. For decades, buying an American truck was about identity, pride, legacy, and tradition. Now that identity is being reshaped by pragmatism, and the modern truck buyer doesn't care where the badge was born. They care what the payment looks like, how far it drives, and whether it'll last 20 years. In that equation, Toyota's promise of reliability and value hits harder than any flag-waving commercial. Still, not everyone sees this as victory. To some, Toyota's move represents the end of the American dream, the final surrender of a once dominant industry to global competition. To others, it's a long overdue correction, a reminder that innovation and affordability, not legacy, determine survival. Whichever view you take, one thing is certain: this isn't a passing trend, it's a turning point. Toyota didn't just discount trucks, it reset the market's compass. It reminded the world that success in the auto industry isn't about hype, it's about discipline, foresight, and understanding what people actually need. As the dust settles, one question remains: has Toyota saved the American truck market from its own excess, or has it quietly engineered the downfall of Detroit's greatest legacy? Either way, the message is clear. The future of American trucking doesn't belong to the loudest brand, it belongs to the smartest one. Once again, thanks for watching this video. If you got something out of this, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. And hey, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Agree, disagree, or something in between. I'd love to hear it.